Okay. I think I've been reminded a lot lately. I think conversations with my son, and especially some of the things I've had sort of come up a lot lately with conversations with my partner and stuff, where we talk a lot about forgiveness for things that have happened in the past. You know, forgiveness is generally a one-way thing. I tend to think of it as a two-way thing, but it's not. I don't know, I mean, growing up, I always thought that if I forgave people, I'd need them to apologise, I'd need them to prove that they'd changed and that they would never behave that way again towards me, and there's something there that proved they deserved forgiveness. But the reality is, forgiveness isn't about them or what they've done or that they deserve it. Forgiveness is about you. It's all about me. It's personal. It's to prove to yourself that you've changed. You don't need to hang on to the shit and the rubbish and the hurt and the pain that they've caused you. I think people underestimate forgiveness, and they take it as something that somebody else needs to do first, when the reality is it's not. You know, you can't have forgiveness that goes both ways as a rule. Forgiveness goes one way. You make a pact with yourself where you tell yourself that regardless of what they've done, regardless of what's happened, it doesn't matter anymore. They can live their lives, they can do whatever. You don't need that shit, that crap, that stuff. It doesn't matter anymore. You've moved on. You've let it go, and you're better than that. You're better than what they've made you into. You don't need to hold on to all of it anymore. And it can take years. And you can turn around and say, I've forgiven them. And you can say over and over and over again. And then something will be said, and something will trigger you, and you'll go, oh God, I hate them, blah, 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 blah. And you'll fly off the handle about them. And at that moment, you know, absolute certainty, you haven't forgiven them. Because until you can actually not let them affect your life, you cannot say you've truly forgiven them. True forgiveness is about finding peace, complete and utter peace, over something that was done to you by somebody else, and that person no longer affecting any part of your life, whether it be your past, your present, or your future. That just doesn't have any effect to you whatsoever. If you can no longer allow that to happen, if every time somebody mentions somebody else and you thought you've forgiven them, and you go off on one, and you get really kind of really defensive and really kind of angry at them, or if the very thought of being near them makes you annoyed or scared or anxious or really kind of upset in any way, shape or form, even spending time with them for whatever reason, or if you can't even bring yourself to mention their name, like you've cut them off from your life, you can't even bring yourself to mention their name, you haven't forgiven them. Not even for 1 second you haven't forgiven them. You need to let go of the anger and the hurt and the pain that they've caused you to truly forgive somebody. And it's okay to cut people out of your life. It's healthy to cut people out of your life. You don't need to have toxic people in your life. But what isn't healthy is holding on to all that hurt and all that pain that they caused you, and holding on to all the anger and the resentment and the whatever else that they caused you. You need to be able to move forward from that, move on from that, not let that affect you. You can't have a healthy life, a peaceful life, an amazing future if you cannot let go of your past. And it's something that I learned a long time ago. My past is colourful, to say the least. And I've had to learn a hell of a lot of lessons from it. And I've been through numerous amounts of therapists, as you're all probably aware. But if you don't learn to let go of the anger and the hurt and the pain and the resentment and the toxicity those people have caused you, you will never have a healthy future, a peaceful future. Cut them out, that's fine. Cut them all out. Never have anything to do with them. But learn to let go. Truly forgive them for what they've done. You can't forgive them and still hold on to all the anger, that resentment, that pain, that toxicity that they've given you. And you might find that when you've let it all go, you might even be able to be around them. Because the only thing keeping you from them is all that toxic stuff that you were holding on to. Because you never know, actually, they might have changed. Because some people do. They'll never accept or admit they've done anything wrong, because they don't usually know what they've done wrong. And it's no point asking them, because it will just bring it all up again. So you have to go through a process, and that process is hard, and it's drives you up the freaking wall. People will constantly push those buttons, and you will just get really, really agitated. But you need somebody in your life that will push those buttons and keep pushing those buttons, keep treating you like, keep treating you like you're an idiot sometimes. Because the more you say, well, I've forgiven them, it's fine, it's over, I'm done. And they'll go like, well, I'm going to push it anyway. No, I'm going to push that button. And then you're going to flog at them. And then you're going to get really upset. And then one day they'll push that button and you won't. And you'll be all like, it's no big deal. See, and that is when you know it's done. You're over it. You've actually forgiven that person for everything they've ever done to you. And you don't need that person to tell you anything, to apologise for anything, to do anything about whatever it is they've done. So, understand that forgiveness is personal. It's not two ways. So many people forget that. You don't need them to forgive you. And you don't need their apologies. And you don't need them to forgive themselves. You don't even need them to admit they've done anything, or admit that they're in the wrong, or explain their behaviour. You just need you to explain to yourself their behaviour, to what, and how they've behaved towards you, how it makes you feel, fully admit it to yourself over and over and over again until you're no longer angry at it. And when you're no longer angry at it, that's when forgiveness comes. That's when true forgiveness is there and it's real, and you can either choose to cut them out completely for the right reasons, or you can reach out, find out if there's a chance of rebuilding any kind of friendship, relationship, depending on who this person was to you. It doesn't matter what you do with that information once you've forgiven them, once it's done and you're over it. And it could take 20 years. It could take 20 years. But it might take 2 years. It just depends on the level of pain and hurt and resentment that they've caused you. But it's a process that you have to go through when you've dealt with that kind of shit. And we all have things in our lives, in our past. We all have people in our lives, in our past, in our present, that have done stuff to us that we need to forgive ourselves for and deal with. And we have to go through that to have a very awesome future and live the best lives that we can have. So, yeah. And I was reminded of it today. And it was one of the biggest reminders I've had in a long time. I mean, it's conversations over the last few days, and then I saw it. And I just thought, do you know what? It is important. Forgiveness is so important to everybody. And it's so important to me because I forget how far I've come. So, yeah. Anyway.